the Red Glove interview series just before the weekend. It's time for you to dive deep into this episode with my dear friend Mats Gustafsson from the Malmö region. Hi Mats. We met, a couple of years back. I said quite a few years back, and we've been friends ever since. We have followed each other's progresses and processes and talked a lot and reflected a lot and motivating each other a lot during the process. Sometimes Mats more than me, and then I went back to Mats and said, hey Mats, you need to do this more. And so I really love this kind of relationship because it gives so much, especially after so many years, where you could actually see how things change, and even maybe our mindset and values and so on. So I'm really excited to have you on, Mats, today. And you've made quite a journey, which we will dive into very soon. And one of the things that you did is a shift that I'm going to ask you about. Yes, but before we start, I always like to start with gratitude, because I think gratitude starts the receiving process. I think it forces you to focus on the things that already work in your life and to get more of them. And there's so many atrocious things happening all over the world, that we kind of tend to forget about the things that are actually working, So the first question before we move on is, what are, the 3 things that you're most grateful for, Mats, in your life right now, and why?
Yes, thank you, Claudia, and thank you for having me on the show. I'm very, very excited, and welcome to my office in downtown Malmö as well. I'm located just behind the central station in our excellent office here at Brightcom. Perfect, grateful. Well, that's first of all, of course, my family. I'm very family centered. My wife, my kids, my dogs. It's like everything to me. It's really, really, really important. And I really try to structure all my life with those in the center, of course. So that's number 1, 2, 3, 4, and last, so to speak.
Okay.
And then I thought about it, and then I'm really thinking about the changes, especially what's going on in the West and in Sweden. And I'm very grateful, actually, to be born in Sweden during the 70s, actually.
Okay.
Because during the 70s, and I went to school during the 80s and the beginning of the 90s, the actual peak of the Swedish school system and everything like that. So, because thinking back, I had an excellent schooling. I have nothing to complain about. And so on. So I want to have that in comparison with the debate in Sweden or in the West today. So I'm very grateful for that, and of course my parents who laid the foundation for who I am, my values, and so on.
Awesome.
So those 3 things. All right.
So your family, your dogs. How many dogs do you have? How many dogs?
Sorry, you repeat that.
How
please.
many dogs do you have, Mats?
2 dogs and a cat.
2 dogs and a cat.
2 dogs and a cat. And I have to say, I live on the countryside in a big house, a small farm almost. So I really need a cat, and I work a lot with the dogs and so on. So it's not all for show. It's also for work.
Yeah, they're really nice dogs. I've met them, So okay, so that family, of course, and the educational system from the 70s that you were a part of, and obviously your parents.
Absolutely, the values, the basic, the foundation, the concrete, and so on.
So I'm going to ask a direct question, because you talk about the foundation, the values that were installed in you. So when I met you, you belonged to the Social Democrats thinking and the party, you were what we call in Sweden a sosse, and then during the process you made a shift and you became affiliated with maybe the Moderaterna and the more right wing, right? and you also made a shift to move from maybe just a normal employment to actually do things by the side and not to be a full-time entrepreneur. You know? So my question is, what made you make that shift? If you can, please tell us.
Absolutely. First of all, I don't like to set like that, like the party lines and so on. I really see like the more of a collective mind versus perhaps a more individualistic phrase or mind. That's how I see it.
Okay.
But basically, the Sweden, the west of Europe and Sweden have gone through a change, meaning that the society and all that have been more individualistic. And with that, I have also changed more to an individualistic point of view. But really, I still have a collective view on certain things. I mean, I really think that we need to have a collective mind in our government. We need a strong government. We need to have like the strong values that shares along the people in a nation and so on, of course. But I have to admit also I've been more individualistic. Yes, of course.
Okay.
Yeah. So I can't deny that. Perhaps more egocentrics and family centric as well that I've been before. So that's
but
true.
was that because I've seen this process, and was that connected to a certain happening? Like, because I know you started to work as a management consultant at one point. Was that the entry point, or did it happen gradually? Or
no, I think no, it was gradually, but because I mean society's changed, the government changed, Sweden changed, Malmö have changed, Stockholm has changed, everything changed, and by that my point of view have changed also. So basically, it has nothing to do with I was a management consultant or something like that, because more that the surrounding environment and the municipalities, the city, the government, and so on.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was a gradual change,
Absolutely.
connected to the collective thinking.
Absolutely.
That is happening and has happened.
But I still want to emphasize. As I said, I have a collective mind still, right? But not in that sense I had before. But
it's still there. It's still there. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because I can feel that, and that's one of the reasons we're friends still.
Absolutely.
I think we both have that collective thinking, but at the same time removing. I know we're pretty similar when it comes to certain areas, like removing excuses and taking charge and responsibility and not letting things just like go nowhere because of incompetence. Let's say.
Absolutely.
All right. So, second question: did you have a superhero when you were younger, and who was that?
Of course I have, and I'm especially pleased that my oldest son has taken over the torch.
Wow.
And he both I and him love Spider-Man. So Spider-Man was by far the coolest superhero in my book, every day in the week. And I
Why was that?
I thought, and I mean, you have Peter Parker, kind of nerdy guy who have the ordinary problem with girls, books, and relations and so on, and then he's the cool superhero with the awesome powers and can jump buildings and escape all that. So I think that's why.
It's interesting. Okay, can I just ask you another question? You have seen Star Wars, haven't you?
Of course.
So who is your favorite character in Star Wars?
That was that was a more difficult question. I mean, not Han Solo. That's for obvious. I think that it has to be what's his name? The main character. What's his Luke.
Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, Luke Skywalker. Absolutely. Yeah. Because he's have a more collective mind. He's more of a thinker than Han Solo, and more laid back. And so on. Yeah.
Okay, it's interesting. You know, I had Spider-Man as my superhero too.
Okay, cool.
And yeah, and then in Star Wars, the reason why I'm asking you, because Luke Skywalker is having a battle within himself too, you know. And when it comes to Star Wars, I really like Darth Vader, you know, and it's and the reason I've been analyzing, you know, why is it, you know, that I like Darth Vader, and one of the reasons was because of his, you know, inner battle and just complexity of his double nature, right? He was good, going back to the collective mind that you're talking about. At the same time, he was really individualistic, you know, the dark side. So I'm thinking Peter Parker, you know, that this was a guy that was like a normal guy, you know, studying and battling the everyday problems with, you know, girlfriends and his grandmother and so on. But at the same time, he was a superhero, climbing buildings and stuff like that. So I think the duality of those characters is what attracted me to both, you know, Spider-Man, obviously Darth Vader, and of course Luke Skywalker. And when I hear you talk, is a little bit about the duality of what you have been experiencing, you know, with the shift, and at the same time having the collective mind. You know? So I'm just interested in.
Absolutely, I'm totally agreeing with you. I mean, it's the classical yin and yang concept in everyday life. Absolutely.
Exactly. All right, so let's move on. How did you get into? What do you do right now? And how did you get into this current field?
I'm the VP. I'm the VP of growth at a company called Brightcom. I'm also one of the owners. We are a Microsoft partner, and we help small and medium companies with their backend, the ERP system, so to speak. So lots of e-commerce companies needs to have the automation in the backend. I mean, coming in like hundreds, thousands of orders. You can't do it by hand. You have to have some automation in the background. So we help them with that. So basically, I'm taking care of all the sales and the marketing, the inbound marketing, and setting up the SEOs, fairs, talking to partners, and so on. And I really love it. It's so fun.
I know you do. Are you guys operating in Sweden or in Scandinavia, or do you get clients from other countries too, or where are you?
Most of our customers are in Sweden, but they have subsidiaries or offices all over the place. One of our companies have it in Japan, in the States, in UK, Germany, in Bosnia, and all over. And actually, yesterday we got a new colleague to Brightcom who is located in Canada. So he's actually working from Canada and helping our Swedish customers and so on. So that's the beauty of the mobile centric workplace, right?
Yeah. That's why I like it so mobile.
Absolutely.
As we can see, you know. Absolutely. Always moving. All right. So if I get this right, you could be a consultant. Let's say I live in Australia, right? Yep. And I could be a consultant for you guys if I want to expand the Australian market.
Absolutely. We are always looking for consultant developments within the Microsoft Dynamics NAV sections. So it's really hard to get the developers and consultants. So we are looking all over the place for as well. But then again, I mean, most of our customers are in Sweden. So you have to almost have a Swedish touch with it. I mean, and most of our customers of course speaks English, so that's no problem. But with the time zone, the time frame, and everything like that, most of our consultants are in Europe. But as I said, we have one in Canada as well. So it's
where in Canada, if I may?
I think it was Toronto. I think so.
I
think
love that city.
I've been there. Sorry.
It's awesome. All right. So when was the first time you knew you wanted to start your own business?
Uh, well, actually, the first time I start working at the private section, I started as a salesperson, and this was in the mid-20s or something like that, and after a while working as a salesperson, I really enjoyed it, and if you enjoy something, you become and you are really good at it as well. So after realizing that I could, and I really like to sell and help customers and so on, it's always been there like a seed that I want to start my own business someday. And during my different businesses and during my different employments at different companies, I always been like an entrepreneur. Always, I'm been like an business area manager or partner manager, meaning building up new ventures or building up new business areas within the company and so on. So I've always been an intra or an entrepreneur when I'm looking back. So it's quite funny when you get the definitions and word on it and so on. So yeah, but in the mid-20s, I realized I could sell, and when you can sell, you can build something, and when you can build something, eventually you want to build something for your own.
Yes. So the selling was something that really.
Yeah. That one when I understood that I can do this and I can build something, and I can do it build something for myself as well.
So what do you say? Because there is this trend going on with entrepreneurship, right? And before, being an entrepreneur was actually considered something really bad. I mean, people were laughing a little bit like, the guy with the vacuum cleaner. Oh, here comes the entrepreneur. Now the trend is that it's really cool. So if you talk to people, almost everyone is an entrepreneur, digital marketeer, influencer, YouTuber, and so on and so on. So the trend is that it's really cool to be an entrepreneur. But
Absolutely.
Would you say entrepreneurship is for everybody or not?
It depends. Of course, depends on how you define it. I mean, if you define it as an entrepreneur as well, I mean, working with inside a big company to break new ground, then of course. But no, I don't think so. It's not for all, because you have to deal with uncertainty. You have to love uncertainty. You have to thrive within uncertainty, and some people don't thrive in uncertainty.
No, exactly.
No. So you have to love uncertainty, even though if you're intra or an entrepreneur, right? So if you don't love, I mean, really love uncertainty. You have to go another path.
Yeah. I think that's really important, and thank you for that answer. It's really important to bring it forward, because I think a lot of people will get disappointed very soon, because the whole trend is that, the entrepreneurship and so on. But I mean, it's just like everything else, if you want to become a really good NBA player, basketball or, soccer or whatever, you need to put in a lot of work, discipline, sacrifice. And not even then are you, secured any success if you look at the marketplace. So if you don't do that, a lot of people will get disappointed. So I think it's better to actually remind people that, it's totally right if it's not for you. I mean, you can find another area that is really where you can thrive, like you said. And it doesn't have to be as an entrepreneur only because it's cool now to be an entrepreneur.
But then I think it's really important to establish. I mean, you can be an entrepreneur during 4 years. It's okay, and then you can take an employment as well. I mean, you can go back and forward between the different branches or different jobs, so to speak. Right? I think it's totally okay. Just as you know what you do, and I mean, being an intra or an entrepreneur is. I mean, as I said, I'm going back. It's a way of being uncertain, thriving in uncertainty and loving it. And I really want to promote that you can go back and forward. I mean, that's when the true value exists, especially in big existing companies.
That's such a great point and insight to go back and forth and just remove this whole mindset of going all in. I mean, you know, you remember, Mats, when I started my own company, I went all in, but it's because I didn't know better. Now, with the things that I know today, I would have kept my day job and just, you know, did something at the side 2-3 hours a day instead of watching the Idiot Box and the series, but at the same time have a stable income. You know what I mean? So
absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's really good.
I totally agree, and it always depends on what state, what phase of your life you're in. I mean, are you 21 and at the university or by yourself? You can go all in because then your risk is nothing, right?
All in.
But you have kids and a family to take care of and everything like that. You have to think about it with the responsibility and so on. So I totally agree.
All right, so let's move on. What do you spend? What do you spend a big chunk of your money on, Mats?
My kids, my dogs, and vacations. I think.
Okay.
That in that order, and the house, of course. Then, but the family, the dogs, and vacation. In that order, I think.
In that order, you know. So actually, something to be grateful for to get more of them.
Absolutely, exactly. Yeah. Absolutely. So it's but absolutely. But I really want to increase the vacation part, I think. So I want to spend more of that. So hopefully when the business is increasing, I'm gonna increase that as well.
Well, you know, I'm all for vacations, as you know. I travel quite a bit myself, and I think
absolutely.
It gives so much spice to the life, you know. All right, so looking back, which person has had the biggest influence on you, and what did that person teach you?
Actually, two persons. My parents. I have to say that my parents, because even though I was born and raised in a traditional rural middle town in Sweden, working class background, my parents had a ordinary jobs, no higher education at all. But what they did and what they actually loved, that they always had like a side gig as well. They always, absolutely. I'm thinking back on that. Yeah, they really had that. They were like selling clothes by the side, or they were selling electrical, like refrigerators and so on. I mean, like back then, there wasn't Blocket or that. They had to use the newspaper, the classifieds in the newspaper, selling stuff by the newspapers. And the phone was calling all the time, ringing all the time, and then but doing that, I saw how much they liked it, and of course what all the cash, the money by the side went to, and so on. But I really liked what I saw and how much they what you say, how much they try to expand that and teach us to think outside the box, so to speak, and so on. So that's that. And I think about that for perhaps like 20 years or something like that. But then when I reminisce, I see my father and my mother meeting people, coming to our apartment, selling stuff and so on. So it was awesome. It was very cool.
That's cool because that is entrepreneurship.
Absolutely.
Taking responsibility, being creative, making it work and stuff like that. So you were actually groomed.
Absolutely. And the best part is that I didn't, as I said, I hadn't think about it for like 20 years. So it was very cool. Yeah.
Wow. All right. Thanks for sharing that. Do you have any books? I know you and me, I mean, Yeah, we've read a lot of books on similar books.
Absolutely.
Do you have, I mean, I know it's hard just choosing one, but if you have to choose, one today, let's say, that
Absolutely.
you
But
want to recommend.
I actually have one that's always on top of my mind, on top of the shelf. It's the Medici Effect by Frans Johansson, a Swedish author.
Okay.
And basically, it's a book how to innovate, how to do business development, and so on.
Okay.
And his main point is that you combine two areas. Of culture, you combine two areas of branches or what have you. And you have to open your eyes for new culture. You have to travel to have lots of input and so on. And he often gives the Samuelsson, the Swedish chef. What's his first name? Samuelsson is his surname. What's his first name? I can't remember. But the famous chef, the Swedish chef, he has his own restaurant. Yeah, exactly, the Obama chef. And he has his own restaurant in Bronx and so on. And he gives an example how, because he has been traveling all over the world, and he's a famous chef. But he also have the basic Swedish thinking of the Swedish different Swedish meat and so on. And he combined like the Indian cuisine with the Swedish cuisine, and he made this famous dish with a smoked salmon mango chutney. Right? So he combines the Indian with the Swedish and make a third excellent combination, right? That brings the floor down totally.
Exactly.
So that's the essence of the book, that you take different subjects or different cultures and so on. And I really try to think about that all the time, because I often take my experience from like the telecom internet industry and bring back what I do today, and take that business logic and try to encapsulate that what I do today with the different thinking and everything like that. And sometimes it's excellent and sometimes it's not, of course. But that's how we stay. I'm trying to stay ahead, right? Thinking outside the box in small incremental step by combining different branches, different thinking and so on. So the Medici Effect by Frans Johansson, you have to read it.
Could you post it after the interview in the comment field?
Absolutely.
But I think what you're saying is really, really crucial. We tend to network and be with people that are like us. So if I'm a speaker or an author, I tend to hang out with authors. But what you're saying is that you should go outside that, and maybe hang out with an engineer or a mathematician, and then combine the two. I think that's really important.
Absolutely. I mean, you combine your background with social engineering, or so to speak, with thinking of today. I mean, you combine that and find a solution architect or something like that. So exactly. I mean, we are doing this. Of course, we are doing this daily because we're using our experience to and thinking about in new ways. But this book makes it more practical, and it pinpoints it that you as how to think about it, and and so on. So it's excellent. It's an excellent read.
Awesome. I'm going to read it.
Cool.
I haven't read it. So last question. We have 1 minute left. If you could leave a message so the whole world could see on a giant billboard, however artificial intelligence into everybody's consciousness, doesn't matter. What would that message be?
I have to paraphrase Vaynerchuk.
Okay.
Do shit you love.
Do shit you love.
Yes.
That's a really important one.
Absolutely. And of course, you have to read between the lines. And I mean, you have responsibilities. And you have families. You have what have you. Yeah. But within those concepts, you always have to do shit you love, because life's too short.
I agree.
And find what you love. So do shit you love.
Awesome. We're gonna keep doing shit we love. So if people want to get in touch with you, Mats, what is the best way, or read more about your company?
Just go to brightcom.se or look me up at LinkedIn, Mats Gustafsson. Just check the show notes. All right.
Okay. All right. Thanks a lot, Mats. I know you have some meetings coming up. Have a great weekend, and we'll be seeing you soon. And for the rest of you guys, have a great weekend, and looking forward to the next Red Glove interview next week. Take care from Malmö, Mats. Thanks again.
Bye-bye.
Bye.